Here's the truth. Most people have no idea what they're getting into when they first start SMMA, and I'm 5 years deep. This is about to be the most real video I've ever made on the topic. I'm not gonna try and sell you anything. I won't butter things up. I'm just gonna lay it all straight on the table for you guys. Talk about my 5 years of experience and some of the biggest hurdles that I've had to overcome in scaling my agency from 0 to over 100K a month in profit. Things that I've never heard anybody talk about in this space online today. I'm also gonna share my opinion on whether or not I think SMMA is getting too saturated right now, having been in the industry for such a long time. First of all, if you're watching this video, you should already know what SMMA is. It just stands for Social Media Marketing Agency. It's just a term that was coined by Tai Lopez 5-6 years ago when he created this online hysteria about starting a digital marketing agency, right? Because at the end of the day, an SMMA really is just a digital marketing agency, which is a business model that's been around for a very, very long time. But that Here in My Garage ad, the OG, created this hype around what we now know as SMMA. It's just you, person A, approaching person B, which is a business owner. We're offering a service to a business owner to increase their monthly revenue, and in return, they're gonna give us a nice big fat paycheck at the end of every month. So how did I get into it? Very quick backstory. I came from a sales background. I got kicked out of university at 20 years old. There is a story attached to that. You can check it out on my main channel if you're interested. But I got myself in a lot of debt, and I needed a way out of it. And for me, I thought sales would be the easiest and quickest way for me to make some money in a job setting. So I jumped into heavy cold calling, boiler room environment, 100 cold calls a day, and I was terrified. I was useless at sales when I first started out. But after a couple of months of being forced in this position, knowing I had this looming debt, I actually managed to get pretty nifty at sales. And so I worked my way through a number of different sales jobs to the end of, I think around 23 years old. And I remember this day in the office when I was looking around and I had this realization that I was actually earning decent money, but I was saving all year for one holiday that was over before it even started. And everybody was in the exact same position as me, but they were 2-3 times my age. And I knew that that wasn't the life that I wanted to live. And so I started looking at online opportunities. And this was right at the time when SMMA, there was hype around this new opportunity. And I looked into Amazon FBA, I looked into starting an e-com store, but SMMA, an agency, resonated with me the most, having come from a sales background, because that's all an agency really is. It's a sales-driven business, okay? You need to get good at sales to ultimately run a good agency unless you have a business partner that can manage that part of it. Now, fortunately, it's not pressure sales, and I can confidently say, having sold a lot of things that people don't actually need, that it's a much easier sales process than a lot of industries out there. It's really just a problem-solving exercise. And that's not to say it's not a challenging thing for people to jump into when they haven't had any kind of sales experience beforehand. So for me, I immersed myself in SMMA. I was watching YouTube videos, reading books, and just getting hands of any resources I could get my hands on, right? And I was learning and waking up really early in the morning and learning as much as I could in the time around work. So really early in the morning, I was waking up at 5 a.m. and then also in the evening as well, a little bit on my lunch break. Long story short, within 2 weeks, I managed to sign up my first client, which was a local restaurant, okay? At the time, everyone said restaurants, gyms, dentists, those are the niches you need to be going for. Now, my opinion on that, it slightly differs now. I don't think restaurants are a great industry for beginners to jump into, because generally speaking, they've been hit a lot of times by agencies, and they also need to be high tickets and need to be, at least if you are going to a restaurant, at least £40 a head, $40 a head. So they've got a high lifetime value, which is the amount of money a customer will spend over their lifetime going to that restaurant, right? If we like the meal, we're gonna come back over the course of months and years, right? Also, dentists were recommended a lot. Dentists is quite a tricky niche. It's very hard to get hold of the business owner because generally they are the lead practitioner. I still think that is a good industry for people to get into if you can get into it, but I would say that you have to be very mindful that you're not really gonna get hold of them on the phone. You're gonna have to go on LinkedIn or email. Gyms, again, is an industry that's been heavily hit. And so there are other industries that I would recommend that I'll come on to in a moment that would be more suitable for beginners, I would say. But I just went for the cliches. I just built this big list of all of the cliche industries in my local area. I reached out to this restaurant, managed to sign them on my first meeting through the skin of my teeth. It was like £750 a month. I was absolutely ecstatic, but I had no idea how to fulfill the service. And I wouldn't recommend anybody doing this, okay? So if you're watching this, you're wanting to start an agency and you don't yet know about the service you're gonna fulfill, or you don't even understand the basics, don't just start signing clients straight away. You need to understand the basics, okay? So you can sell it ethically. But for me, I had this Richard Branson quote that was in my brain, just drilling into me, that if you ever get offered an opportunity and you don't know how to fulfill it, say yes and learn later. And so that's what I did. I signed up this client and I was like, shit, I actually need to do the thing that I said I could do. So I immersed myself myself in Facebook ads, which was a service I offered to start off with. And within about 2 weeks, I actually managed to get these ads profitable through the skin of my teeth. And I got this client very great results, which I was very happy about. But then I continued to sign client 2, client 3. I quit my job about 2-3 weeks after actually starting my agency. I set myself the goal of replacing my outgoings first before I quit my job. And I'd recommend anybody doing that. Never quit your job to start a business if you haven't replaced your outgoing. You need financial security. Sure, you don't need this buffer. You don't need a really good kind of amount of money to live this nice lifestyle. Just replace your outgoings, okay? So you've got enough to live at least, but not enough to make you really happy. So you've got that motivation to push you in a business. Did that. But I signed up so many bad clients at the start. I say so many. I signed up like 2-3 clients that really were just not suitable clients. And this is a completely avoidable mistake. Because at the start, I was just chasing money. For me, it was like, I want money as quickly as possible. And I think that's the same for a lot of people going into business. They want to make money as quickly as they can. But actually, as a new start agency owner, something that's way more valuable than money is experience and case studies. And what you really need are a handful of very good clients that you're getting great results for, that you can use and leverage those case studies for referrals and content online so you can get a bunch of other great clients. I signed up like a kitchen and bathroom showroom, which had no quantifiable way of tracking results. And so they just wanted me to run ads to get people in their store. So I was just trusting them and them telling me that the ads were working well or not. And they had no content creation capabilities. We had a lot of miscommunication. I probably overpromised them quite a lot in the sale because I was just desperate for the money. And it really wharfed in on me over the 2 months that we were working together. We decided to stop working together in the end, but it was completely avoidable. And if I just stuck to my guns and understood that it was better to get high quality customers and not just seek money in those initial stages, it would have been a much easier process. So I would recommend when you're first starting out as a new start agency, don't be just going for anybody and everybody. You need to have a business or need to have clients that have quantifiable results. So for example, if they are a roofer, for example, and their roofing business, you want to be able to generate leads for them. A lead is essentially somebody that's filling in their information, their name, their email address, maybe their phone number, on a form to register their interest for the product or service that you are trying to advertise for. If you can give that client a list of 20, 30, 40 leads at the end of every month, it's a very quantifiable result. But for me, with this client, they just wanted people to walk through the door. It's not very quantifiable at all, okay? They're just judging about how busy it feels, not very suitable clients. So you need a quantifiable result. You also want to go for businesses generally that have higher ticket product or services. If I was starting from scratch, I would just be going for high ticket lead generation. And what that looks like is, let's say, for example, there's a lot of industries that are high ticket lead generation. It's pretty much any business that has a service that they need customers for. Right? There's a lot of businesses. So in construction, you've got solar, you've got bricklayers, this is not limited to this, by the way, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. You've got home improvements, you've got people who actually come and do kitchens and bathrooms and plumbing in houses. In healthcare, you've got acupuncture, acupressure, all herbal remedies. You have personal yoga instructors on the high end, okay, you don't want low end. There really are so many avenues that you can go down. Aesthetic clinics, high-end cosmetic dentistry, again, it's harder to get hold of those industries, but there are so many different high ticket lead generation businesses out there. What I would recommend you doing is just building a list of, or having a look on Google at all the companies in your local area. Start local, 100%. You need that leverage, you need that in with the business. And then just see which of those seems to feel suitable and have a quantifiable result, okay? There is no specific niche that is gonna make your agency successful. And I think a lot of people have this so wrong. It's like, a lot of people will comment on YouTube and they're like, what's the niche? Like, what's your niche? They'll see someone who makes 10K in their agency about, what's your niche, dude? And like, the niche is irrelevant, okay? As long as the niche is suitable, they have quantifiable result, they're relatively high ticket, they have a good lifetime value of a customer, then they're perfectly suitable. What the leverage point is for an agency and the reason why they're successful is the consistency that they've had over a very long time through their sales outreach. For me, I was conditioned in those early stages to stick to my daily sales outreach every single day. And so I reached out to 20, 30 companies every single day because I had that conditioned and ingrained in me from way before in those sales jobs. But not many people have that conditioning when they first start an agency, and that's why a lot of people struggle to stick to that. It's very much like going going to the gym. When you go to the gym, right, you don't get immediate results. It's that consistency over a very long period of time. But people don't see those immediate results within the first week, and so a lot of people give up very, very quickly. But the people who stick to it, right, are the people that end up on top and end up getting jacked or look good, stay lean, whatever your goal is, like aesthetically. And it's exactly the same in business. You need to do the little things every single day, the things that actually count towards being successful, not fannying around with your website or unnecessarily networking. You just need to be sticking to a daily outreach when you first start out. So I then scaled up the agency. Okay, I had those initial struggles with a couple initial clients, but I scaled up the agency. Within 3 months, I'd made my first 10K in the agency, and that's a really, really nice sweet spot, by the way. In the initial stages of an agency, you're doing 80, 90% profit margins because you're not outsourcing until you've got maybe 5, 6 clients. You're not farming out any jobs to anyone else, so you're retaining most of this money yourself. That's a really, really nice place as an agency owner. It's what I call the freelance plus stage. And on my 4th client, I outsourced social media management. I was doing organic posting as well as ads. I wouldn't recommend you doing that. If you're gonna offer ads as your service, just offer ads, just offer one service and do it really well. Organic posting is a time hoarder and it doesn't bring a lot of money, okay? So I outsourced that. But if I was running just an ads agency, I wouldn't recommend outsourcing service delivery until maybe 5, 6 clients in. Big mistake a lot of people make is hiring way too soon and hiring based on desire and not necessity. If you hire based on desire when you feel like it, okay, oh yeah, I want to have a bit of free time now when I just hire, then you're going to ingrain a subconscious laziness within you. And it's just completely unhealthy as a new start business owner. You need to be conditioning yourself to push through that daily graft and hard work. If you outsource too quickly, then you're rewarding yourself way too soon. Yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, nice, and I've just got a passive business and I can't do anything. Well, then you're gonna start getting lazy on your outreach, you're gonna start getting lazy on how much time you invest into your team management, on how much time you invest into making sure you're delivering a good service. The agency is just gonna fall apart because you've become lazy and you've instilled that way too soon. You should only hire when you really need to. When something needs to give, right? If you are outreaching 20 companies a day, for example, if you're doing that, but then you're suddenly fulfilling services for 5, 6 clients, you're gonna start feeling a pinch on your time and maybe your sales is gonna start falling down. At that point, that's when you want to look to hire because you do not want your sales to fall away. Your sales falls away, the whole business will crumble eventually. So you need to hire when you feel that pain out of necessity and not from desire. For the majority of agencies, that is hiring somebody in service delivery. Some people though get to this point, they're like, I really am hating the sales part, at which point they might hire on the sales side of the business instead, and then they will fulfill service. Okay, so you either need to choose what your role is. It's either going to be service delivery or sales. My role was sales. Okay. Now I actually think there is merit, and I just want to throw this out there, in staying around that freelance plus stage. A lot of people start an agency, and I honestly, if I had a fiver for every time someone says to me, I'm like, what's your goal to start an agency? Like, I want to hit 10K a month. It's just like the popular thing. It's fashionable to make 6 figures. Right? Because it's been rammed down people's throats so much. But if that truly is the case and you want to make 6 figures, it's really, I'm not going to say it's easy to get to that point because it's not. You have to put in a lot of work, but the actual tasks are not extremely difficult. It just takes a lot of mental resilience and commitment to actually achieve that. But it's a lot easier to get to 10K a month than it is to get to 50K a month. An agency is a completely different beast at 50K, 100K than it is at 10K. You can run a 10K a month profit agency and have 2 team members max who are not even full-time. They're like other freelancers, okay? You have someone on service delivery, someone doing your outreach, so like your lead generation and actually reaching out to companies for you, and then you just actually take meetings every day. You can maintain 10 grand a month and live a relatively passive life. Okay, but relatively passive. There's no such thing as real passive income, especially not in the agency business model. It's just not the passive business model. But if your goal truly is to make 10K a month, then I think there's a lot of merit in staying around that freelancer plus stage, okay? Don't force yourself into starting a team and hiring full-time employees and going down that path if you truly just desire finances and time freedom. Because let's be real for a second. You can create a pretty incredible lifestyle on 10K a month in profit. So if that truly is your goal, then I think there's a lot that can be said about keeping at that freelancer plus model and not allowing your agency to get too complicated like so many people do. If your why spans way beyond just making decent money and having time and financial freedom, if your why is something a lot greater and it needs you to make a lot more money, like mine, starting a charitable organization, starting a really big passion play business that requires millions of investment, then of course you're going to want to scale your agency further. But if it truly is just making 10K a month, don't bother overexerting yourself. Get to that point, maintain it, and just all you need to do is just make sure you're reaching out to enough people to offset the churn rate that you have in your agency. And churn is just the period of time that it takes for you to lose clients, because you're never going to keep clients forever, right? They're going to hire in-house, they're going to get sidetracked by another agency, things will happen, right? But you just need to offset that churn with sales. You're living a quite a cushy lifestyle. So I scaled up the agency, we got to that point, we scaled the team, I went way past the 10 grand a month point, we scaled way past 100K a month, and I went down the e-commerce route as far as my niche was concerned. I started off local, and everybody should start off local. You need that leverage, you need that in. But I got pulled into the world of e-commerce, okay? Because it's kind of always been this underlying thing that, like, if you want to make big money with an agency, you want to have clients paying you 10, 20 grand a month, get e-com clients. Because then you can take commission checks from those clients, and yeah, you take a percentage of the amount of earnings, and you're laughing. So I kind of we transitioned all our client base over to e-commerce. We started signing up e-com clients, and for us it worked really, really well because we've got this online brand, and we're already in the online space, we're very well connected, and we made a lot of money for a lot of clients. We're spending over 100 grand a day at some points within the agency towards the end of last year, which is pretty mental, but that does not come without a lot of complexion and a lot of stress. Way more stress, I must say, than it would be making similar kind of money from a high ticket lead generation agency, which is very much copy and paste as far as the strategies are concerned and as far as the services are concerned. I think there is an e-com trap in the agency business model, and a lot of people fall into that trap. They see people like me, they see other agencies that have e-com agencies, and they're like, that's the holy grail. That's what I need to work towards. But I truly don't believe that that is the right path for the majority of people out there. Because with an e-com business, let's say your service is ads, right? Facebook ads, like ours. When you're offering Facebook ads to an e-com business, it's just the cherry on the cake, right? The product needs to be great. Client reviews need to be great. The client experience and customer service needs to be great. The website needs a good conversion rate. The emails need to be optimized correctly. The Facebook ads are really just the final cherry on the cake. So they can be massive headache clients. You could have a client that's making 100 grand a month already. You think they're going to be a dead cert. You're going to get them 5x return on investment all day long. Bang, doesn't work. You've got this stress in your hand, you're having conversations with clients every day, like, why isn't it working? You don't know why it's working, they don't know why it's working, and it's just a logistical nightmare. And then agencies often fall down this trap with e-com where they're like, well, I need to offer multiple services now. I'm gonna offer Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Snapchat ads, email marketing. By the way, I'm talking about myself. Fell down this trap myself, fell down this rabbit hole, looking at big full stack marketing agencies thinking that's the path we need to take. That's the path, that's the most logical path that we need to take in our agency to generate amazing results for e-com businesses. So much complexion, so stressful, so many team members, and it goes against the fundamental reasons why so many of us start agencies in the first place, financial and time freedom, right? And if that is truly the case why you started your agency, you don't want to create all this complexion. I'm not trying to push you away from e-commerce if you ultimately feel like you gravitate to that and that's what you want to do within your business. But I'm saying I do not believe it is the right path for the majority of people that start SMMA. And I think way too many people start SMMA thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get straight into e-com. Whereas I actually think high ticket lead generation is a much more stress-free agency model. It's way more copy and paste, it's a lot easier to implement, and you can still charge commission-based checks because you can do a cost per lead pricing, you can charge people commission, man, you can even do a sales hybrid agency where you close leads on behalf of clients. That's a beautiful business model right there, okay? It's literally like Alex Hormozi's gym launch business model, okay? It's essentially a glorified marketing agency with a bit of done with you, okay? So they'll get leads for gyms and then they'll close those leads on behalf of the gym. It's a really, really lovely hybrid sales business model, which a lot of agencies can move into, right? So really think about that, and absolutely never start an SMMA and jump straight into e-com. You are just setting yourself up for failure. These business owners are tech savvy, they know about ads already, they know about agencies, they've probably already worked with agencies, so they're not going to be working with some random 18-year-old kid that they've never heard from before in a country that's not even local, in an area that's not even local to them. They're not going to do it. They're never going to make that jump, and if they do, it's going to be really hard for you because you're going to think it's easy to get results when it's not for e-com unless you really know what you're doing. So just don't start with e-com when you're first starting out. Now, the other thing that really goes in your favor by going down the lead generation route versus e-com is your offer. With lead generation, you can build really nice offers, and your offer is what differentiates you from other agencies out there, okay? It stops you from just being a commodity based on your price and your promises on sales calls. As an e-com agency, we're pretty limited when it comes to our offer. We're gonna double your ROAS, we're gonna double your revenue, we're gonna guarantee profitable ROAS, we're gonna guarantee to increase your ROAS, all the things that other people and other agencies are saying, right? So it's an uphill battle, and it really does depend on just the quality of your results and the quality of your case studies. If your lead generation, you could niche down into, let's say you niche down into acupuncture, for example, and you work with 1 to 3 acupuncture specialists or acupuncture clinics, whatever you would call them. Over the period of working with those clients, you're gonna know exactly how much money you can spend to acquire a customer for that acupuncture business, right? And so it's gonna be very easy for you to understand, okay, if I spend on average $500 a month or $1,000 a month on ads, I can generate X number of customers per month. And once you've done this enough times with enough businesses, then you can make an offer around those predictions because you know exactly the input and what the output is, because it is the same for pretty much every business out there in local lead gen when you're going just for one niche, okay? So you might find that for this acupuncture business, you can spend $1,000 a month and you generate 40 new customers, okay? Qualified customers every single month. That's what you might figure out, right? That means you can create an offer that says, I will guarantee you 40 new customers every single month. When you reach out to acupuncture specialists and you say, I can guarantee you 40 customers every single month, it's risk-free. That's a no-brainer offer. They're gonna go for that, right? They're gonna go for that over somebody else that's just saying, let me run your ads and we'll hope for the best, right? You can run ads to that offer. You can do it in your email marketing, in DMs. When you cold call, you can put forward that offer. That offer is what makes you unique. That offer is what separates you from everybody else. And if you go down the lead generation route and you make sure you niche down into just one industry, you can create an irresistible offer that essentially just vacuums up every business in your niche, and you can monopolize an industry. So when you're going down that route, try and think outside the box with the niche that you're going for. Because the more specific it is, the more likely another agency hasn't gone down that path, and even more likely another agency hasn't got a very unique promise and offer and guarantee for that industry. So really think about, when you're working with an industry, make sure you work with them at least, I would say, like 3 times before you make that offer, so you're pretty sure that you can generate the result you're promising, and then create an irresistible offer specific for that industry. You will clean up, trust me. It's really important. I think a lot of agencies miss this out, is they just don't build offers, they just go very generic with their outreach, and they just end up blending into the masses of average agencies. So really think about that offer. Talking about offers, services, I mentioned in a moment ago, we started off offering just Facebook ads, and we did social media management as well. We stopped doing social media management about 6 months into the agency, just offered Facebook ads. And when we jumped into e-commerce, we got roped into offering a whole bunch of other services because we'd seen other agencies that did that. Now, it came to the start of this year, the start of 2022, that we had this realization that we had seriously overcomplicated our agency, that it went against the whole reason we started the agency in the first place. Okay, we started this agency because we wanted it simple. We knew it was a gateway business that was going to make us some good cash flow, some good capital that we can invest into other business ventures and investments. But in doing that, we didn't want it to become overcomplicated. And so what we decided to do this year was actually scale back our team and actually put all of those people into just one service. And what I truly believe is the best path for agencies to take now is just offering one service, and offering that one service very, very well. And some of you might be thinking, well, okay, well, doesn't that mean I'm turning away business all the time? What about if my client says I need a website? What about if my client says I want email marketing as well? You don't have to turn away that business. You can just farm it out to other agencies. And what this does is it enables you and it gives you an excuse to build great relationships with other people in your industry. Because other agencies aren't your competitors. They're also your friends and can be very strategic as well. Now, us as a Facebook ad agency, we've got a partner in TikTok ads, we've got a partner in email marketing, we've got a partner in conversion rate optimization. Pretty much every service that we don't offer, we have a partner agency that we will hand referrals over to. Sometimes we will white label the service and we'll just manage the relationship, and then the other agency will deliver the service. Other times we'll just pass the client over and they'll manage it completely. But what that does is, because we're handing over clients to other agencies, it means we're getting referrals all the time from other agencies that don't offer Facebook ads, okay? So it's this symbiotic relationship that ultimately creates this entirely new client acquisition system. Very, very valuable. And it also means that in your agency, you're minimizing complexion, you're not scratching your head over 1,000 different things, you're not trying to spin all these different plates in different departments all the time, you're just doing one thing and doing it really, really well, which is the position we're in right now. So if you start off with that in mind and you don't get sidetracked by a lot of other services, then you're going to be a lot further ahead than many people are who overcomplicate way too soon and end up getting stressed and quit. Right. So I got a note that something I wanted to mention. I was going to mention it earlier on in this video, but I think it's a really important thing to touch on. I want to talk about money management. And over the past 5 years, I've had this journey with money management because for a lot of people, and for me, like when I started my agency, God, I had never seen so much money in my life. Like it is cash rich, high profit margins. And like all of a sudden I'm making 20, 30 grand a month. Like when I was 24 years old, I'm like, wow, what am I going to do with this money? And I was born into an area called Norfolk in the UK. And I wouldn't say there's an awful lot of wealth around here, and certainly not in my friendship groups and my family, there wasn't a lot of wealth. I didn't really have anyone to guide me and teach me about money management. So when I was making 20 grand a month, I was rich. Like I was rich. Like in my mind, I was kingpin. And all my friends treated me like that, and my family and so on, and I was haloed. And that really created this very unhealthy expectation of what to do with that money. And I think that would have been completely different if I was born into an area where I was surrounded by a lot of money a lot earlier on and there was a lot more wealthy people. So what I did was I spent a lot. I bought a BMW M4 within the first year of starting the company. I bought my first Rolex within like 6 months. I upgraded to a Porsche a year later, and I just really wasn't very frugal at all. I'd spent ridiculous money on nights out and holidays, like insane. I took my mum on holiday to Dubai, amazing experiences, right? And I don't regret any of them, but I would say that the business would be way further ahead, or I would have made a lot more money a lot sooner if I reinvested that money and was a lot smarter with how I was spending it in those initial stages. Now, this is kind of a battle that I have in my brain, like every now and then. I'm like, well, shit, was that a good thing to do or was that a negative thing to do? In my position now, because I'm still making a lot of money and I've got multiple businesses that are generating over 100K a month, I don't regret that at all because I'm so glad that I got to experience those things in my young 20s. So glad that I got to do that. But if I was in a different universe and I was a different person and business wasn't doing so well right now, it would have really done with those capital reserves to reinvest and build the team and go further. So what I'm trying to get at is learn from me a little bit in the sense that when you start making money, don't think about how you can spend it. I think it's important to reward yourself, but I think it's very important equally to delay gratification and not act like you've made it before you have. If your goal is to make $1 million a month or make 10 million in cash or whatever that may be, if you've got some pretty lofty goals and you're only making 10, 20K, don't be spending that money. Okay, use that money as a vehicle to get to that next level and unlock the next tier. That's not to say that you can't spend money at all, but it's to say you need to be mindful of using cash and capital as a tool to make more money and not just to kind of throw away on materialism and rewarding yourself too soon. And so what happens after a few months, after you've upgraded that lifestyle, is you get used to it and it becomes the new standard for you. And then you start seeking what is next. Okay, you start seeking dopamine in further purchases, and it's very easy to fall down this rabbit hole. And I've seen many people do this, make a lot of money and lose it all because they upgraded too soon. They didn't delay gratification. They didn't keep capital reserves to reinvest back into the business, and they lost everything and have to start it from scratch again. Okay, a general rule of thumb that I would say is it's good to spend like 10, maybe 20% of what you're earning. 10, 20%, splash it, okay? As long as you're keeping like 80% of your business's earnings, retain profits in the business so you can reinvest that money, you're gonna be pretty secure long term and still be able to live a nice lifestyle and enjoy yourself. I'm absolutely not one to say you should not enjoy your life at all. I think if you are earning money, especially if you're earning money young, enjoy it. Because if not, you're gonna regret it, okay? We don't die with it, right? So anything can happen at any one time. So just make sure you are just balancing enjoyment, reinvest, and not using materialism as a pillar to weigh up your happiness, your fulfillment, and your purpose, okay? Because ultimately, money is not what's gonna make you wholly satisfied, fulfilled, and happy within your life. Maybe the things that it brings will, maybe the security and the freedom that it brings will. But if you lose that freedom because you spent too much and you fucked up, you're going to be in a pretty shitty position, right? You don't need to not enjoy yourself. I think everybody should enjoy yourself, especially if you're making money young. It's good to enjoy it young. Allocate like 25% of your funds as splash tokens and enjoying yourself, right? If you're keeping 75% of the business, you're going to be laughing. You're not going to be in a dangerous position, and you can still live a good lifestyle without rewarding yourself too soon and screwing up your subconscious. Okay, final thing I want to talk about. I was going to talk about whether or not I think social media marketing is saturated as an industry. And as a very short answer, no, I do not think it is saturated at all. Okay, I do not believe so. There are 4.4 million businesses launched in the US last year alone. That's a 24% increase from 2021, okay? That's showing this kind of entrepreneurial epidemic that we are in right now. So many people are exposed to starting businesses, they are starting companies. There are not enough marketing agencies to be signing up all of those businesses. The opportunity is ripe. But what I do think has happened to SMMA is the market has got a lot more sophisticated. I think gone are the days where you could start an agency similar to me and you could just reach out to a couple of businesses and they've never heard about Facebook ads before. Like when I first started reaching out, these people did not even know what Facebook ads were. Like, oh, Facebook ads, I can use that to get clients. Awesome, new opportunity, signing them up. Yeah, and I'm not saying it was easy because it wasn't, but you're selling a new opportunity instead of selling something they're already aware of. And it's a very different sell. And that's why it's also really important to build an offer within your agency, unique to a specific niche, because that sets you apart from other agencies out there. You're no longer going to a niche and you're saying, I want to run Facebook ads for you, increase your revenue. You're going to them and saying, I can guarantee you 40 clients every single month. It's a no-brainer, okay? It's a completely different value proposition with that client. Now, I also think there are so many people, there's a massive amount of people, of entrepreneurs that are jumping into this industry, being flooded right now with so many people that are online, on YouTube, creating videos similar to this, and just creating this hysteria again around social media marketing. Social media marketing right now is being searched 30% more than the peak of when Ty Lopez created this original hysteria, which is a very positive and a negative thing. I think what it also attracts a lot of low quality people into the industry. And so you get a lot of people that get sold this dream that it's a get rich quick scheme and they're going to make 10K within their first 2 weeks, because a lot more people out there are very unethical, okay, have questionable morals, and so they're not afraid to promise these really bold things and make it look out to be very, very easy, okay? When actually it's not. It's a real tangible business model that requires a lot of work and a lot of consistency and resilience over time. And the reality is, not a lot of people are made out for that shit. Not a lot of people can keep up with that consistency. Most people don't have the discipline to stick to the basic daily tasks that's going to get them to their goal over a period of time. Because that's what's going to get you there. It's consistency and resilience over time. But we're in this crisis right now of online entrepreneurship. People are just seeing a random person on a YouTube short and they're like, wow, I need this guy's lifestyle. And they get brainwashed into believing that they need to be an entrepreneur, that they need to start a business. That's the only way that they're going to be a real man, they're going to start a real business, and they're going to be soulfully happy in their life. And it is simply not the truth for the majority of people. I don't think entrepreneurship is for everybody out there. It takes a very specific kind of person. You need to be a little bit tapped to be successful as an entrepreneur. You need to be okay with doing things every single day that are not going to bring you immediate results. You need to be okay with working in private and not needing gratification from other people to say, well done, man, you're doing a good job. You need to be okay with focusing on self-development in a very selfish sense, sacrificing going out all the time, sacrificing things that other people see as normal, sacrificing these luxuries in life. That's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And not everybody is capable of doing that. Not everybody is capable of staying in their lane and sticking for something for long enough to actually make a success of it. And that is the reality that I've learned over the past 5 years. And if that is you, then I hope this video has helped you and given you a realistic expectation of what it actually is like to have an agency, because if you are prepared to make sacrifices and you know that it's going to be hard work, then the agency is an incredible business model. It's an incredible business model for beginners because there's such low barrier to entry. It's an exceptional gateway business that can give you cash flow that you can then use to build other businesses further down the line, whatever your goals may be. And it has created such an incredible life for me, and I'm so grateful that I stumbled across SMMA in the midst of it 5 years ago, because my life wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for it. Now, if you've watched this and you still want to start an agency, know that you've got an unfair advantage, something I didn't have 5 years ago. You can learn from people like me who have gone through this process, who have made mistakes and overcome them, and share them for free on this YouTube channel. It has always been my mission to give more away for free than other people will have you pay for. So make sure you subscribe and turn your notification bell on, because we have giveaways on every new video. In fact, there's one on this video where we give away an affluent merch kit every single video. All you need to do, comment down below. Let me know your goals for starting or scaling your agency going into 2023. Maybe the position that you're in right now, and we'll see if we can help you. Cool. That's it. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.